Go.
Hi. As a blogger, you often get to know bloggers, but you don't ever meet the bloggers. Here I'm standing here with Jamie Goode, somebody I followed for at least 4 years now, and it's good to meet you finally in person.
Nice to meet you, Ryan.
We're at the SITT tasting, and you are a London blogger, so you know what this means in London. How important is this tasting for the area?
Well, I think it's unusual, this tasting, because you get a chance to taste lots of wines that normally you wouldn't get a chance to taste. There's sort of wines from small producers that are basically, find it hard to find a route to market. We're kind of in the global marketplace now. It's easy to find a route to market for wines that are made in large quantities and at low prices that go through supermarkets, which now account for 75% of the wine sold in the UK. But what these guys are doing is these are small independent importers of wines, maybe from a particular country or with a particular niche interest like organic wines or something. And so what you've got is you've got wines produced in small quantities, and what this tasting is about is finding basically a match between the people who bring these wines in and finding them a route to market through people who are selling wine. And I think it's really interesting. It's dynamic. Lots of the wines here are just full of character and personality, and there's sorts of wines you don't often get the chance to taste. So I think it's fantastic, and I think it's a really good tasting. And I hope that you've had a chance to go around and taste some of these wines yourself.
Well, we're slowly getting around it. We're noticing. First, we want to, we cover Spain and Portugal, so we want to taste what's here and support those people. But it's fun to be able to taste obscure little French wines from appellations you haven't heard of, and biodynamic treasures, and it really is, the diversity is incredible. Is this typical for London?
Well, I guess one of the good things about being in London is that, apart from the high prices and the fact that there's lots of people here and there's not much countryside, is the fact that because we don't have a huge wine industry of our own, we get wines from all over the world, and just about everywhere gets some representation in the UK market. So, from a wine writer's perspective, this is fantastic. It means I can taste wines that from anywhere in the world, even quite obscure places, and it gives you a great global perspective on wine. So it's a real privilege to be able to be here in London with all these wines coming in. So that's one of the attractions of this sort of event.
One last question. This is your home turf. Is there any table here that we can't miss?
That's a really hard question to answer, because I risk alienating lots of people by not mentioning them. But Richard's Walford, they're a really good importer. Genesis Wines, they're another really good importer. Raymond Reynolds, the Portuguese wines, the leading importer of Portuguese wines.
This is the only Portuguese table, right?
Yeah, it's the only Portuguese table. Those are three I'd start off with.
Wait, you've been writing a lot about Portuguese wine. Is there much here?
In the UK?
Yeah.
Well, it's funny.
Because you write about it a ton.
I write about Portugal more than I should do, just because I love Portugal and I love the wines. And commercially, it's a bit stupid because the marketplace of Portuguese wines here isn't that big. There is a keen following of Portuguese wines, but it's not a huge following. But I'd like to see it grow. I mean, part of what I like to do as a wine writer is I want the good guys to win. I want the guys who are doing good work to be rewarded, and so it's almost like a slight crusade for me. Is when I find maybe some underdogs or people who aren't getting the recognition they deserve, then I'd quite like to make sure they get the recognition.
No.
Maybe that's a bit presumptuous, but no, I think it's kind of fun to. And Portuguese wines are interesting, I think. Yeah, there's some rubbish Portuguese wines, but there's rubbish wines made everywhere. The best Portuguese wines, I think, are as good as any from any country in Europe.
Well, it's stunning when you taste through a whole range of them, what the surprises are. They're really good quality wines. So, thank you for talking with us.
You're welcome.
And we'll keep reading you.